All right, everybody, welcome back to another Sunday snack. One of these days we'll actually record it on Sunday. We're Sunday snacking, continuing. It's like a birthday that you just keep doing.
They all end with Y. It's totally fine.
Exactly. Okay, it is recording this time, so we're going to record the first time instead of having one heck of a really cool podcast and then, oh, dang, it didn't record, but whatever. Okay, so it's Annette again and Isaac. I'm doing a video too. I was like, why are you waving? We're on a podcast. So today we're just gonna kind of recap like what's going on this week, how we're feeling, what we're doing, all those good things. So why don't you go first this time?
Well, it's actually, so what has it been? It's actually been like 2 weeks. No, it's been a week. Yeah, it's been a week and a half.
Since what? The last Sunday snack?
Since the last Sunday snack. We've had 4th of July.
We did miss a week. Sorry.
We've had like a heat wave. It was like super hot. Gosh, I don't know. Like, I feel kind of the days are.
I'm totally cutting you off. I'm not wanting to cut you off, but okay. And within that time too, we released your first podcast and it's already at like 88 listeners.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. I think we need to start doing something that's like the 100 Club. Cause I think there's 3 episodes that have now broke 100, which I think is phenomenal. So I think we need to do something like, I don't know I'll send you $100,000 candy bar or something and hope it doesn't melt. But I just wanted to say, that episode, you did a phenomenal job. It was so good. And I think it was Lance reposted it a little later. And I was just like, thank you so much for doing it. I'm like, you did a great job. And I'm like, and at that point, there was only 40 listeners. And I was like, you already 40 people. And like, it doesn't count listeners unless they listen to it all the way through. So I'm assuming people aren't just falling asleep and like, it plays. Like, 80, I think it's at 88 right now. And I'm like, that's 88 people who have listened to your story. Like, that's pretty cool.
I think what was really cool about that post, I saw that Lance had shared it. You know, he was nervous about speaking out, speaking his truth. And what he had said on that post was he's glad that he was able to have a voice. And man, it was a really good time. Oh my gosh, him and Mo, like, first of all, if you guys listen to it and you get to the part where they're telling each other the things that they like about each other, I was like, I did not know like that's where we were going with it. But like I want to like tear up right now because it was so touching. And like, gosh, like if tell the people that you love how much you love them and make sure that people know how amazing they are to you, because gosh, it was so good to hear that. And thank you, by the way. That was my first podcast. Oh, there's times like when at the end, I don't know if you can hear the end. I'm not sure if I edited that out yet or before we posted it, but at the end it was like we were like, oh my gosh, we were so nervous, and like it was so cute. And gosh, we also covered a lot of stuff about
it. You did. It was a lot of topics for sure. And I always have like a weird way of ending. I'm like, okay, are we done? So because like I could talk forever, especially when it's somebody like that or telling their story, or like, I mean, conversations need to be more than just an hour. But I was like, no, I could sit here for another hour and listen. I'm like, this is so good. So yeah, that was great.
That was so cool. Other than that, like we're opening up here, and there are some places that are not opening up in the United States, but we are opening up here in Chicago. I think today we still have numbers of reported COVID cases, but I think within the last 24 hours, not that it's good at all, but we've only had 2 deaths, which is so far from like 150 per day, or at one time we were having a high of 4,000 positive cases. And I think it's dropped down to like not even like less than a fourth of that. So way less than a fourth of that, actually. math.
Math's
Uh,
math hard.
but so that's really cool. I know that Chicago is doing a lot of stuff to help social distance. There on the weekends, there's on close to where I work, the restaurants that are there. We've actually we closed down part of the street and extend the outside seating actually into the street so that we can really expand, making sure that everyone is distanced far enough apart to enjoy going out and at least feeling somewhat normal again. Yeah. Other than that, Black Lives Matter still just as much as they did.
Right.
As
much as they did 2 weeks ago when they were trending. Brianna still needs, some justice. Like, we got to keep sharing that. Elijah, like, all those things. Keep them circulating.
Sign those petitions. Keep speaking out, and just don't let your voice go unheard about such great, amazing, huge topics like Rana Taylor. Yeah, I do my weekly post just to stay relevant. Yeah. I do that every week. The words get bigger and bigger and the post gets longer, so it takes up more of the news feed. And I'm like, I
never noticed that. I always share yours though, because I was like, yeah, I've been trying to do it too. Like, and I'm trying not to be on social media as much, because there was like a week where it was all I was doing was like, and then I was like, okay, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself, yeah, I just said that. But I was like, I love like popping up there because the funniest thing about you, it's not really funny, but like I know where you stand on things, and I think that's awesome. And you're willing to be like in your face, chipmunk, in your face, little funny thing. And I was like, that's a really great way to do that. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm like, in your face, do something. But then I'm like, and a unicorn, and like, I mean, you have to be able to balance it, right?
Yeah, I want people to know, on my social media, I have such a wide variety of people. Mm-hmm. I have the never Trumpers and the always Trumpers, which is fine. Like, I respect everyone the same. And then I have like far left, far right, which are different, by the way, in my opinion. But being able to like stand my ground. I mean, I'm a white male. Like, it is very important that I am on the right side. Like I said, this is all in my opinion. But whenever I post something, I want it to be very clear. Like you said, I'm very clear about where I stand on basically everything. And I'm also open to discussion and conversation, and change my mind. If we can have those conversations, it's important to be able to do that, right? So
I feel like when you say change my mind, it says it's not one of those like you're sitting down on a park bench with a thing that's like, debate me and change my mind. You're really like, let's have a discussion. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, by the way, not promoting that guy at all. Just, and I stand solid on that too.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's opinion and everyone's voice is very much valid and important. And yeah, I just, and after, like I said, I make those statements even in my daily life. This is not just on Facebook or social media. Like, when I am in public or when I'm around my friends and I feel strongly about something, I say exactly what I mean. And then at the same time, like, I want to smile and laugh with you. Like, I don't want people to be offended necessarily to the core about what I say, but I do post things to make people think or to strike up that conversation that maybe they don't know how to have or where to have those conversations. So I'm an open book. I'm always willing and like wanting those connections and those conversations. So thank you, by the way. I sometimes maybe seem a little bit, I don't want to say harsh or just maybe bold. There's a lot of, I feel like it could be a little bold. And there's a lot of times in my past that I've not said something because I was worried about how it would go over or how other people would feel about it. But we don't have time for that.
Right. So. Right, for sure. So we kind of said we were going to discuss a little bit about like burnout and a little bit about just how you're keeping, because especially with social media, and I don't want to focus just on social media because you could get burnout from anything. Like if you're I don't know, reading the newspaper or something. Like there's negative things everywhere. And I think sometimes even the things that need to be said, like Black Lives Matter and like promoting all that goes along with that, cannot quit. Like I cannot say that enough, that it is not something that can just trend and it stops. Like we need to fight the good fight and we need to keep going for a lot of different causes and everybody. But like the burnout for it, and I will say 100%, like I experienced it. Like I was like gung-ho, like oh my god, and then I was just like whoa, like I'm really tired, but I'm also, and I was angry, like I was mad and I was angry and I was sad and I was like crying and I was pissed and I was like and I think we talked about this a little bit in the last episode too, of just like, okay, now we really do need to have some fun. Like, and then I'll see people, I was like, okay, 4th of July happened. And part of me was like, why are these people still having fun? You know? And then the other part of me is like, I want to go have fun, you know? Like, and I'm not saying it was just like, don't celebrate 4th of July because of what's behind 4th of July. I'm not even saying that. I was just like, why are these people out hiking? And, you know, like and then I had to catch myself. I was like, that's so dumb. And I'm like, and part of me too is like, I'm really like focused on a certain project right now, but I'm also like, yeah, you got to go out. You have to still find joy in life and you have to be able to have fun. Like we only get to live once. All of us are going to die at some point. And for all means, like I want to be a person that's known that I'm dying fighting for other people. But I also want to be like, man, that girl, she took advantage of every second that she had in life and lived it. So I hope I do that. So I had to really like check myself and be like, whoa, Annette, like you need to take care of you first and then take care of other people.
Speaking of the 4th of July, what did you do on the 4th of July?
What did I do on 4th of July? Oh, I worked on the bus during the day. And then there was a bunch of people on property. So I'm staying in Georgia at a place where I'm building the bus, like a homestead where we're building. And they had, it was really nice because they had like a party basically. We had Airbnb guests that were here. And then we had, I think there was like 12 people here or something. And then some of the schoolie, or this girl, Denise, she bought a crap ton of fireworks. And it was like one of the coolest fireworks show because we were like right there and they had some big stuff and like nobody died or got hurt. And then we were just drinking and talking and they made a ton of food. Like it was really fun. So I was really glad that I was able to do that. Like I was missing my family a lot. Like I haven't seen my family since December, I think. Like this is the longest I've gone without seeing my family. And that kind of sucked. And then some of my friends were like texting me from my hometown that were like, oh, you know, they're partying together. And I'm like, I was supposed to be there. But that's what I did. What'd you do?
So my boyfriend and I, he used to work at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio for like 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years before he moved to Chicago. So he had a friend that was staying in a condo, like not even a mile from Cedar Point, right on Lake Erie. And it was just the 4 of us. It was he and I, his friend, and her little daughter. So, you know, we just kind of like stayed away from everybody, and we were able to. Cedar Point was not open, but they did a fireworks display on the 4th of July, and we just like, other than that, we cooked and we went swimming in Lake Erie. It was a nice little like social distancing getaway. I think I made a new best friend. His friend's daughter, she is 5. She just turned 5. And, you know, I'm a hairstylist. So she was complaining when she went swimming and she had to take a shower, but she said her hair was tangled. And I was like, you know, I'm pretty good at brushing out hair if you'd like me to. And she let me brush her hair out. And she was such a trooper. And I guess the other day she had mentioned something about how, well, first she wanted to know what Isaac's doing. This is after the fact. Like, I got a text message from her mom, and she was like, Um, Sophie keeps asking, where's Isaac and what's Isaac doing? And is Isaac doing hair right now? It's just so cute. We had a really good weekend and it was nice. You know, my boyfriend and I, that was actually 4th of July was 1 year since our first date, like our actual day of meeting each other. We had talked to each other for quite some time before that, on and on, or off and on. But I gave him a card and it was like, on this day, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I knew you were going to get me something. I knew you were going to sneak off and figure out a way to like celebrate. And he was so like concerned that he didn't get to do anything. But I was like, look, I have not had time to do anything. And I know he hasn't had time, but like on my way to pick him up to drive to Ohio, I swung by my favorite little card shop and I literally had 5 minutes and that's the card I found. I was like, no, he has not had a chance to do anything, and I love surprises. And I love giving people like little gifts and cards, and he was so excited about it. So that's what we did for the 4th of July weekend. Now you recently, what have you been doing? You have some pretty big things to talk about as well.
I mean, they're ongoing. So everybody knows about the bus project now. I'm going to do a separate podcast, I think, where I'm just telling everything about that. But still working on the bus, still in Georgia. But like this week was I took it to a tiny house festival. I wasn't going to go because like the word festival just is like, oh, like just a scary word to me right now. So I was like, okay, I'm like, it's going to be social distance. I'm like, we're in tiny homes. Are you sure? But I just put, excuse me, I put notes that, you know, one family at a time, and here's Purell, and don't sneeze, cough on me. And my throat is so sore now because, I mean, I told the story of the bus and beautiful strength to like 1,000 people. And I think we increased like 250 followers. It is not about the followers. I'm not saying that at all, but they do help as far as get your mission out, and they do help. They tell somebody else, I'm like, and it was cool because that was 250 people who were like, this is interesting. I want to support this. And I think that that's awesome. So, got the bus, like, it was really cool because Friday night, the cabinets got installed. So I kind of like, took a humble pill and was like, you know, you could just hire somebody to help with this and it will go a lot faster. And it looks so much better than I could. Like, these people are professional. Like, I'm not going to cut myself on an edge of like, you know, like they're doing really good. And we were supposed to drive down Friday, and it was like 7:00 at night before these guys were like done installing them. And then Diana's like, Annette, we should just go. Like, your bus looks so good. Like, you should just take it. And I'm like, it's not done. They're like, you should just take it. So like all my tools, like I'm a very clean OCD bus builder, like probably the cleanest bus builder. And I could tell you exactly where every screw, and like, not in the bus, but like if you were to say, Annette, where's your tape measure? I'll be like, oh, it's in the 3rd drawer down, and that type of thing. And so, but it was all on the dashboard. It was all spread out. And then the second after I laid the floor, I covered it with cardboard. So even to me, it still doesn't look like there's as much progress as there has been. And so when I got it down there, Saturday morning, I like went to pull up like all the cardboard and like put things in the places that where it's supposed to go. And then I started like sweeping and stuff. And I was just like, wow, I'm like, this is actually like coming out of my head and like now is in physical form right in front of me. And like, I think I may have shed a couple tears. It was really cool.
Slept in it for the first time too.
And I slept in it for the first time. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've laid down on the floor several times when my back's hurt, but I've never actually stayed overnight. So this was the first time, like, and I had told the guy who's kind of helping me build it a bit, I was like, there's no way I'm going if I don't have air. Like, I'll die. It's 100 degrees in Georgia. I'm like, I won't sleep and it'll suck. And so he made sure that my air was installed on Friday. I'll probably have to take it back down to redo behind it. But I just sat in front of the air the whole time. I was like, I'm not even going outside. I'm like, and like the bus is still like, I need to get a fan in there to circulate it. But yeah, it was like, and I didn't have I have windows. I didn't have shade or blinds or anything. So I was up at like 5, but I'm telling you, it was probably the coolest sunrise I've ever seen. And it was just over a park, and like, not like the beauty of it, but I was just like, this is legit happening. Like I am laying on a queen size bed in my studio and here comes the sun. And like, I just had this like, oh moment. It was just really cool. So, and then it was just cool to see like people coming in and being like, oh my God, this looks so good. And like, to me, I'm just like, the craftsmanship's not the greatest. And we're always our worst critic, like
Sure.
I can see every scar and bump. And like, even as a founder of Beautiful Strength, where we're celebrating people and like not our flaws, like obviously it's a work in progress for me too, of like, there's a lot of self love and a lot of internal work that needs to happen too. And
I
the
mean,
same thing with the bus, like we're immediate to point out the negative or immediate to point out the flaw so somebody else doesn't, like, but the ceiling really, it doesn't really bother me. It's just like ooh, that ain't the greatest. But then he covered up like half of my scars. And I even told him, and I was like, I think it's really cool that you came in, and I was like so concerned about how this stuff looked. And you came in like, not even like being like, oh, that's bad. He's just like, and here we're just putting this like awesome coating over it, but your hard work is still behind it. Like the lights don't turn on just because they're there. Like they turn on because you ran them and everything else. But I also joked because people would come in and they'd be like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, I've done everything in here pretty much, except for the cabinets. Oh, the cabinets look great. And they like, all they would focus on was the cabinets and then the refrigerator. And like, I'm like, yeah, but look at this wire. Look at this floor. You know how long that took? It was just it was really funny, but I cannot wait. Like, it's going to be so cool when like you get to come see it, or like I did do a photo shoot in it before. So this girl, Denise, that was down here, and I haven't released it yet. I have to send it from the iPad to my phone. But this girl, Denise, that was down here, that's a leukemia. She's currently living with leukemia and traveling. She's in schooling. And before they left the farm, I was like, you have to be in this project. Like I met you a year ago, and be careful if you go to a tiny home festival. I was at one a year ago. Now I was at one again. So, but yeah, Atticus has officially opened for like, we can do photo shoots in it. It's not completed. Like if you're going to come in there, it's not like done, but it has been used already, and it has been, people are starting to know about it. And then I did an entrepreneur training all during quarantine, and then we just finished up like the 8 weeks or whatever it was mentor. So I did my first pitch. It's a 4-minute long explanation of the entire project in 4 minutes. As well as from why I started Beautiful Strength to what Beautiful Strength is to the bus project and to projection of next year, all in 4 minutes. And so I did the preliminary of that, and then I'll do the next official pitch in August. So that's just so people can get awareness of the project, and also hopefully we can get some either sponsorships or money, and just keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So busy at all, right?
Huh?
Haven't been really busy at all, is what you're saying?
No, not at all. Actually, it's so much easier to be busy doing stuff when somebody else is doing the physical work. I know that sounds bad, but like, and I'm still doing stuff. Like I still have things that I have to fix, like the backsplash and the things. But the other thing was hilarious too, because, and I always turn things into like an internal thing. Like so like cutting out light switches, like I plan these suckers out and I like cut them, and I knew they weren't cut great, but I was like, I can cover them up with this, the electrical covers, whatever. That didn't work. So I cut it, and then I couldn't get that. So I glued it. And I was just like, whatever, I'm done. Like that thing is as is, whatever. And like, when those guys came in, not once did they make fun of anything that I did. They were just like, you don't do this every day. Like, it's not like,
Yeah.
It's fine. And he's like, but we can show you how to do it if you want to learn. And I was like, absolutely, I want to learn. And then I was like, what, you don't like my craftsmanship? And it was like, and like just watching them do things. And I'm like, that's what life is. Like, you just need to surround yourself by people who don't point out your flaws, but they help you heal from them, and they help you fix them. Or not even that you have to fix them, but just help you see them differently. Like the guy that I was talking to yesterday at the Tiny Home Festival, which I can't wait to like start interviewing people from that realm. Like they're just a whole different ball game, and I love it. But he was just like, women are, because they live on a nudist colony. Is that what they're called? Every once in a while, like when they're not traveling, that because they feel safe there. He's like, it's a whole bunch of like old dudes, like who are just comfortable or whatever. And he was just like, because it's got to be hard to be a woman. Like from the day you're born, you're basically handed like here's what you're supposed to look like, and here's what you're supposed to be, and all those things. And he's like, man, he's like, some days I'm just really happy I'm a dude, but he's like, I don't know, we had a lot more in-depth conversation on that too, but yeah, you got to surround yourself with people who make you feel good, because you deserve to feel good. So that's why I hang out with you, Isaac, virtually. Yeah.
Literally virtually. Well, that was one of the things we had talked about before, is definitely, keeping up with joy is actually the words that you use. And I think that is, we're talking about being tired, because we're continuously fighting, and we're continuously like trying to speak our truths and help others people speak their truths as well. Most importantly, other people. But being able to take that moment and like filtering out all the things that are really like stressful and upsetting to you, and centering it back to what the things are that make you happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those were basically your words, saying that you always have to center yourself at the end of the day, and
right.
be grateful to have and the people we have. So
yeah, and I'm not always good at that. Like I even said that the other day. I was like, in my perfect world, like I'm the person who gets up and I stretch and I do some yoga and I make my tea, and then I don't get on social media till at least noon, because that's what healthy people do. And then I eat some like super organic probiotic, have all the right supplements, and then I talk to like my guru for a minute and feel inner peace. And I was like, that's like, that would be amazing if every day, and then I meditated and like just went along. And he was like, yeah, he's like, but that sounds also stressful. Like you have to like be grateful for where you're at now. And the more you're grateful, the more those things will come too. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're just like, shit, I have to meditate. I have to, I got to do some yoga stuff. Like you're never going to get in that flow of like, this is how life feels too. Whereas if like every day you wake up and you say, you know what, I'm really grateful I just woke up. Like, yeah. I'm really grateful for that very first breath that I just breathed. Okay. And then the next thing, I'm really grateful my electricity came on today, or just like, there's all those things that you can be grateful for. And then that pays it forward, because then you're nice to somebody if like, oh, thank you, grocery store person, for wiping down this cart with a disinfectant for me. And then, maybe I won't leave it in the parking lot, and I'll take it back to the cart thing for the next person, Grateful. Grateful is a good word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the small things that that you're talking about. I think we tend to be so wrapped up in the complexities of just what it is to be in this world today, that we forget about the simple things like having a drink of water in the morning, or making that first cup of coffee like you're talking about. So
right. And we are very lucky, like, and I understand that my like my struggles in life and my situations and stuff are mine. Like I only know my own struggles and stuff. And I know like some people, they may flip on the light switch and their light doesn't come on. They may wake up in the morning and be hungry and not be able to eat. Like there's all those things, but there's always something to be grateful for. Like I miss traveling so much because of that. Like you could go to a place where, we, not necessarily as Americans, but we as like what we consider a first world country versus third world country is like, oh, those are just luxuries that we have. But I've been to third world countries where kids are outside playing with a tire and a stick.
They love it.
Happiest people ever, and I'm like, it doesn't.
They fill themselves with like all the crap. They just like get out there and have I
Right.
know exactly what you're talking about. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then I'm like, I know I went through a moment of ungratefulness this week. That is for sure. A struggle. There's a frustration. I think I just get really frustrated when I don't have control. Like if I'm in control of something and I'm like, okay, here's the next step. And I don't like not knowing things. So I don't like not knowing when unemployment's going to end. I don't like knowing when I'm going to go back full time. I probably shouldn't be a freelancer, huh? But it's different. It's different than right now of just like, okay, Nashville just went from phase 3 back to phase 2. So like now is like, there's just a lot of unknowns. And then there's a lot of, I can't plan because I don't know. And so, and then it's just like a communication, like, even though I'm a communicator, but I also don't like conflict. So it takes a lot for me to like ball up and address things when, I'm not happy or not like that I'm not happy, but I'm frustrated. Uh, so then I had to be like, oh my God, like go back and like look at everything that has happened that's good and like be overly grateful for that, because even though you're frustrated, there's been so much good too. So
Well, speaking of being grateful, what is one of the biggest things that you have been grateful for since I spoke to you,
since you spoke to me, what?
since we did our last snack? What is the
Oh,
biggest thing that you're grateful for? This isn't a kudos, but you're
it's
grateful
not a kudos. It's just a grateful. Oh,
for.
shoot. Okay. Oh, kudos. You know what? We can start handing out kudos. They make, well, that's like a granola bar. Can you still make like squirrel, glitter idea? Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Whoa!
right. I think I just had like a glitch in the matrix. Like my robot. We're posed the same. Oh my God. I wish I could take a picture right now. I can, but I can't because I'd have to unpose myself to be able to take this little control alt.
Okay,
Oh no, that's not it. Shoot.
no, I got it. It's good. I got it.
Did you get it?
I got it.
I don't know if it's working. Okay, whatever. Um, shit, what was the question? What am I grateful for? This week, I would say that I have been the most grateful for all the people that have helped me. Like, I kind of was like going through my mind because just from the people who helped me get the bus, drove me to the bus, videoed like me picking it up, making sure I got home safely, hosted the 1 year birthday party, came from Chicago to the 1 year birthday party. Thank you. Made a cake for me, freaking moved my lift, like all, like as I was like talking to people this weekend, I'm like, and this is what we did. And in my head, it wasn't even like the work of what we were doing. I was like, it was with the people that helped me. Like Tony and Deb helped me rip the ceiling out and take the floor out. And then this girl, Melanie, came in and helped me rip the floor out. You wrote in it the one time wherever, like you were there for the party. And then like David, like helped me with the ceiling and the lift. And then, Splendor Oaks and Curtis, like they've helped me learn so much and like get stuff in. And then Denise, like there's just, and then people from a distance have donated or bought a t-shirt, or like even when somebody gives like $25 or something, I'm just like, wow, it really, like, even though it feels like it's just me, like sometimes like I get really lonely and I'm like, oh, why am I just, it's just me, like thinking, like I watch all these couples do these things together and it's just so cute, they're just building their life, and I'm like by myself, and I'm like, I'm not by myself. Like there has been a universe of people helping me with this. So I would say that was my biggest moment of gratefulness this week, is just being like, it's not even other people's dreams and they're helping mine come true. Like it's not like you're not, some people are, I mean, the project in general is so everybody can benefit, but like nobody else benefits from this as much as me, because it's my dream, but other people are still helping me make it come true. And it would not be where it is right now at all without other people. That's it. What about you?
Whoa. Okay, so guess I'll try to follow up that. So, as you know, we have opened back up in Chicago, and my salon is the salon that I work at is up and running. And I've really been able to catch up with a lot of my clients. I've been working 10 hours a day, 4, 5, 6 days a week. And it's just really nice to have those conversations with people. Seeing like, I don't want to make it sound like they're like supporting the salon necessarily, because people also need their hair done.
Right.
But having these people come back and seeing their change of like perspective on like the way we were living our lives just a few months ago, and like hearing them talk about like how they realize that there are things that matter and there are things that don't matter, and talking about like how we go out all the time, and we used to like make that one of our priorities, and now it's more about like almost all of my clients have protested.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients have centered their focus on things like that they really have a passion for and show empathy and want to make a change. So I'm really grateful to be around like-minded people and them to be my clients, because I'm like really I'm like, these are mine, and my clients are way cooler than anybody else's clients. Down. Sorry if anybody wants to disagree with me, I'm not gonna have it. So yeah, I'm just really grateful ultimately just being surrounded by people that are like-minded and centered and focused. So
Somebody just you. Okay, I have to explain. Sorry to cut. I love your thing, but so every time somebody text messages Isaac or tries to call him or pauses his Zoom thing, Andrea Lansbury, is that her name? Angela Lansbury, but dressed as like who is it?
She's in a bikini.
Yeah. So it's like Angela Lansbury's face, but like the body of like a 20-year-old in like a red bikini. It makes me laugh every time. I guess so. People on the podcast won't be able to see it, but if you want to go see it, I keep putting, as long as we're doing Zoom videos, which I love. I'm really grateful for COVID for this, because one, this has made me see my friends a lot more. And then two, I'm like, oh, cool, I have a visual now. So if you need to see what I'm trying to discuss or describe, go to the Beautiful Strength YouTube channel and watch what happens when somebody tries to text Isaac. I should just text you. Here.
No, why? What? Are you trying to? No, it's not a text.
I'm going to text you, so then they know at, well, I guess I don't know what time it is, but.
Call me. You have to call me.
You have to call? It doesn't work on just a text? Oh, okay. It's really funny. Anyway.
It's like, oh gosh. Like,
but I'm sure you could, I don't know what mine is. Nobody calls me. I don't talk on the phone.
Like, here, I can, hold on. You ready?
Yeah. I'm going to take a picture of it. I don't know. She looks so judgy. Oh, it's, is it Ronald McDonkey, right?
Yeah.
No. Is it okay? That's actually one of the best Instagram. If you want a good laugh, because they take all the famous people and they put their heads on bodies that don't belong to them.
It is. I could not with Angela Lansbury. I was like, I'm glad that it has their watermark too, because I was like, I need it. First of all, everyone needs to find him, follow him. Secondly, if I can show off that picture, it kills me. It's so funny.
You gotta enjoy, and that makes me giggle. Oh, kudos to Ronald McDonkey.
No, okay, yes, but okay, but what's our time right now? How long have we been?
You know, sometimes it shows me and then sometimes it doesn't. And I always forget to start my stopwatch. So we're probably at like 30 minutes. I do have an hourglass for the bus that I'm going to flip over so I can be like, ooh, it's now an hour. I've had it for a long time. I've never used it. But okay. So who's your kudos? Who's your shout out? Your kudos to this week?
Ooh, I get to go first this time?
Yeah, because I'm gonna warm up you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
Okay, so I did a little research on this one because I wanted to make sure that I make people I can words. What are words? Okay, so anyway, I'll just tell you.
Words
So
are hard.
I've been watching the Today Show. I love it. I've been watching it since I was like a freaking child. But on my days off, I'm really good at trying to keep up and like see the good news and like the good things that are happening. And today on the Today Show, they talked about this guy named Rob Lawless. He is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And in 2014, he had this idea and he like put it in his iPhone notes that he wanted to make 10,000 friends from all different walks of life, from all over the world. And during the pandemic, he had started that, by the way, but during the pandemic, he was able to take it online, which allowed him to really connect with people from literally all over the world. I mean, like different countries. And his goal basically is to have an hour-long conversation with each of them. He's talking about like what life is like for them being in quarantine, because one of the things that we all have in common right now is going through this pandemic together. And he states that there is so much growth in just listening, and having the ability to like lend a listening ear to people that may not get to tell or talk about, what they're experiencing at that moment. So he's been connecting with thousands. I mean, I was looking at some of it has like a little ticker at the top of like friend 3,125. And I'm just like watching that and I'm like, it's kind of similar to like what we're doing.
Maybe you should reach out to him and see if he would like to collaborate.
We should definitely do that. I mean, how cool it would be to take his picture, talk about what he's doing, and having him on our podcast to like bring awareness to our fans and our people, and also like, yeah, collaborate and just be like, we
stop, collaborate, and listen. Yeah. I sit back with a brand new event. Sorry, squirrel.
100% what he's doing, and support the importance of us connecting as humans.
Let's make that. Let's put that as an action item and totally reach out to him, because I think, and now with this technology, we're able to like do a podcast from anywhere. Like, I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but yeah, and we can do the 3-way with him too. So yeah.
Oh my God, that makes me nervous. And that you're moving.
What make you nervous? It's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. And then I'll be sweating and being like, huh.
Yeah, I think yeah. So kudos to Rob Lawless from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's younger than us, which so many people are as the days go by. But we were talking earlier about how the younger generations are like, they know what's up. They know what's up. There was a time, you said this too, but there was a time.
So this is a conversation prior to when we started the podcast. So what you're referring to is not earlier in this podcast. It's earlier, before we started recording, we decided what the hell we were talking about.
We had a briefing.
Yeah, this is how planning works. We just talk about what we're going to talk about 5 minutes before we talk about it.
But you stated, and I have said this too many times now that I think about it, but there were so many times as a millennial, I would say things like, millennials don't understand what it's like to work, and they don't understand like this is a while back, by the way. I have perspective, but voting and politically and day-to-day life and like just you guys don't get it, but I will never discount the abilities of the generations before or after me, because I talk to these younger people in my chair and I'm just blown away. I feel like they are so aware and they're so informed that they just blow me out of the water. I can hardly keep up with the knowledge and like the ability to do so much and still keep their cool, by the way.
Right.
But yeah, so there's my kudos.
I don't even remember who my kudos was for, and that was like the perfect. So I was like, because in my mind I was like, he named somebody specific. Which I think we should make an assignment for going forward. It has to be a specific person, maybe.
Fine.
Like it could be somebody or it could be somebody like that or something like that, and just be like, wow, this is a thing that I saw, and it was a person, and it could be, yeah, I like that. Let's do kudos to a specific thing.
I love that.
Now give me 30 seconds to rack my brain. A specific person.
Well, no, you don't have to do it this time, but during talking about the people that are doing like the tiny homes and
yeah, that's what it was. I'm so grateful. I just forgot that our kudos to them that I forgot. Okay, yes, that was my thing. So I'm a person like I'm very impulsive, or I'm very like I make decisions and I just do it and then sometimes regret it, or I'm like a commitment phobe and I don't like to like buying a house like terrifies me, even though I want one. It just like signing, and then like I'm committed and I'm there. So like all this weekend of just being around all these people who are in tiny homes, who that's how they live. Like it is like they're committed, but their amount of freedom is just, it's just awesome. And like this one guy was like, he and his wife moved into a tiny home, and then he was like, we're too close to each other, we're like in a 10 by 10 space or something. And she was like, you own land that's 30 acres, you own another 5 acres, go for a walk. Like it's not, we don't need to be confined by these walls that are around us. And like just sitting last night, we weren't around a campfire, but it was like we were around a campfire, and just listening to people who, the nomad and traveler community is very unique. And they don't live by the standards. They don't live by, and that's been around for a really long time. And now it's becoming more and more popular that people are seeing like, oh, you don't have to have the 5-bedroom house. I mean, you can, if that's your dream, you can have it. But like that there is other ways of living and there's other lifestyles. And just for people who are like, you know what, this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it. So like a lot of people asked me yesterday, like, oh, are you going to live full time? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I'm going to commit to a year and then we'll see. And like, I could honestly see myself doing this lifestyle, but it's just kudos to people who just like have a dream and chase it, or like live their truth, like live their life how they want to live. Doesn't matter if there's other people who don't agree with it or don't see it or understand it, but they're just like, this is me and this is my jam. This is what I'm going to do. And I admire people who just do them. Do you do you. So I will have a better specific, I will say the guy, I did talk to probably one of the most intelligent, smartest, just crazy out there, like not in a bad way. When I say crazy out there, I say like he just has a realm that's more open than what mine is, probably, where I'm like here and like into accepting, and he's like here, like he's just done a little bit more work than I have. But he was just awesome, and his name was Michael. I have no idea what his last name was, but just some of the little tidbits of wisdom. Like, I swear to God, he was even on rollerblades some of the day, and he would just come along, and everything that comes out of his mouth, you're just like, wow, that was really good. And then go. I make him sound like this little fairy guy or something like that. Like, I'm like, it's not like in a forest and a fairy. Like, he's not a fairy, but like, oh, wealth of wisdom. Yeah. Hey, drop a line. Like, he's like my little, no, it's like, you'd have to meet him, but he was just a happy person. He's, yeah, he was amazing. The dude has walked from, I think it was Atlanta to Canada. He's done the Appalachian Trail. He biked all 48 states. Like, I really can't wait to see him again. Like, I didn't have time to have him on the podcast, but we will get him. We'll get him on the podcast. Like, he's amazing. So, doesn't have social media, but his wife does. Anyway, kudos to people who just do the tiny home.
We'll follow their
traveling. Yeah, I'm losing it. Why do you not have audio? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Okay, say what you just said. Your mouth was moving, but no sound was coming out.
I said I'm sure that you are exhausted. I mean, you've been working really hard and also staying present and relevant in the community. So you're tired, but it was worth it, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. And then 2 of the vans from the festival followed us back to the property tonight. So they're hosting them here. So I'm like, ooh, cool. We'll go out and talk to them. And I'll be like, hey, you want to do my plumbing? That sounded sexual. That was not sexual. Like, legit. Can you do my plumbing in the bus? Everything in bus builds and construction is like, it could be turned sexual. Like, I can't even think of the 50,000 things that have been said during this bus build where I'm like, it's really funny. And then at the festival, so I had this really cute, like, as you come up the bus steps, it said smile, and I painted it, and I was like, everybody smile, come in for the pictures, whatever. And my feet, like, the first step is like kind of small, so every once in a while my foot gets stuck on that smile. So I've rubbed it with my foot a couple times. Well, at some point during this festival that I didn't know, because I was in my bus like the whole day, I get out last night and it says like SMILF. Like, the bottom of the E is gone. So, a MILF, you know what a MILF is. And I guess a SMILF is a single version of that. And I was like, I wonder if anybody thought that was on there on purpose. Like, they can, huh?
Are you going to leave it that way?
I mean, I have the little extra part that I can glue back in, but I just found it really funny because I was like, I wonder if they were wondering what that stood for, or if, like, I had kids, I'm a single mom. And I'm like, it's pretty ballsy to be like, I'm a SMILF, like, as you come into my bus. Oh, cracked me up. Anyway, that was funny.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for today.
Yes, this is probably, once again, not as maybe we don't call them Sunday snacks. We gotta, like, call them like Sunday, like, brunches.
They're just a couple bites.
Right, and a little bit of a nibble. It's a nibble, but not really. It's a full meal right here. Anyway.
It's so awesome to always just check in and catch up.
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing the progress that you're making from afar. But we'll see.
I'll let you know the day that I come to pick it up, and we'll see if you can fly down.
Definitely. Awesome.
Okay. So, I'm gonna end the podcast, but don't go away, okay? All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Bye-bye. Bye.